So hello everyone. We have with us Australian Grandmaster Max Illingworth, and he's the winner of Australian Chess Championship 2018. And he's been doing phenomenal work in the field of chess. He's been a chess player, a chess coach, a chess writer at the same time. And so it feels really great to have you, Max, on board today. And thanks a lot for scheduling this interview with us. And so, yeah, a very warm welcome to you. And first of all, a good afternoon to you, because it's quite 4 p.m. in Sydney right now. So a very good afternoon to you. And yeah, we can start now. We shall start with the interview now.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So first things first, Max, like, how has the journey been so far? I mean, you've had a decade-long career in the field of chess, and there might have been so many happy moments, so many sad moments, so many downfalls, so many good, great days. So how did you manage it, like, really well, and how has it been so far? I really wanted to know that.
Yes, thank you for your question, Shreya. It's been a really wonderful journey for me. You could say that chess has given me a lot of opportunities that I probably wouldn't have had in other areas, let's say. Okay. So for me, that's how I've sort of got my reward out of chess, where it's a very much something I love to do, that I love to be involved in. And because I have this great passion and love for chess, it's meant that when things have been, let's say, not so pleasant, if, for example, I lose a game, well, I know that I still love chess and there'll be more chances later. So for me, it's not just about the sort of successes I've had with chess, but also the skills that I have learned through chess, and the opportunity now to give back to other chess players who were in the situation that I was in as a player as such.
Okay, so it seems like the passion you had, the strong desire you had for chess, that kept you going throughout the way, no matter how many downfalls you had, but the passion that was there with you, that kept you going.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so Max, each one of us has a big dream in our lives. You know, we dream to be XYZ things in our life, and you might have also dreamt about something. So was it like chess was always the dream, like you always thought of being a grandmaster, or was it something else someday?
Well, for me, I remember I got into chess at 6 years of age. I was really into lots of different games, mind games. As a young kid, I'd play them with my parents, and I'd often beat my parents in these games as well. Okay. So chess was a great outlet because it also really challenged me. And basically my big dream when I was very young is probably the same dream of lots of the young kids that you help at nurtr to become the world's chess champion. But over time, I realized that actually I enjoy coaching chess and writing about chess probably more than I enjoy playing, actually, because for me, it allows me to have a much bigger impact when I help other people achieve their dreams compared to just playing, let's say. So I was extremely happy to get the Grandmaster title. It was a culmination of many years of persistent effort and hard work and playing so many tournaments. But now I'm very happy that I can do something with a greater sort of impact, let's say, and it will help more people than just playing chess all around the world, as many grandmasters like to do as such.
So you're quite fortunate enough, Max, because you've been living the dream you always dreamed. And it's really nice to hear that chess was always the thing for you, and you always wanted to have a career or a life in that. So you've been in chess domain for so many years, and you've experienced 3 different professions in the similar domain. You've been a player at once, you've coached people, you've been a chess coach, and then you've been writing in chess also. So how has been the experience? You know, you've experienced 3 different professions. So which one was the most intimidating, or which one did you enjoy the most, and how was it different from all the three professions, how did you find the difference amongst them?
Yes, actually, I've had times where I was doing all three of these things at once, playing chess, coaching chess, and writing about chess. And what I found was that I could focus on one, maybe two of these quite well, but trying to do all three at once was not so easy, let's say. And so for me, I'm basically finding that sort of just focusing on one or two allows me to enjoy it quite a lot more. So certainly I've really had some great experiences and really enjoyed all of coaching, playing and writing. But now for me, it's sort of about basically doing the things that will make me sort of happiest and give the greatest rewards, as it were. And for me, that's basically, the coaching, where it's not just about me, but it's all about helping the students and being able to share in their successes as well when they see the results of their hard work as such. So that's essentially the answer. They're all very rewarding, but probably the coaching is the most rewarding if I have to pick just one.
Okay, so it's happiness that you look for. Like if you there was a time you found happiness in playing, so you pursued chess, you pursued playing chess. Then you found happiness in teaching people. Then you switched to a chess coach, and then maybe you're finding happiness in writing as well. So that's why you're being a chess writer now. So it's the happiness quotient you look for.
Yes, certainly what makes me feel the best, and what I enjoy the most is a big factor for me. Yeah.
Okay, so Max, next I wanted to ask you, like, there have been kids, I've been in conversation with certain chess players who are 8 or 9 years old, and they have been playing chess for really long, like multiple years, 2 to 3 years, but still they're not able to find any improvement in their game. Their ratings do not improve. So what would you like to say to such kids, like those who are pursuing chess for a long period of time, but are not able to, eventually see any improvement in their game? And to see the improvement, the only criteria we have is the rating. So their ratings are not improving. So what's your take on that?
Well, the first thing I would say, Shreya, is that improvements in chess, and virtually anything for that matter, is not very linear. So, for example, let's say you break your chess improvement in 6-month periods, probably you're not improving at the same amount each time on the rating. So it's one thing to keep in mind that you won't always see the results of your hard work right away. It's often that consistent effort, just doing a little bit every day, that allows you to eventually see the results. The other thing I would say as well is, I've also talked with lots of other chess players, my chess students, my chess friends, the chess community, and lots of players have this similar sort of challenge, that they sort of have lots of different resources that they can access for studying chess, but there's no clear direction on how to actually use it, how to essentially get you from the situation you're at, figure out what your challenges are, and then find the way to overcome them. And I think that represents a very big opportunity as well, to be able to say, okay, this is what you need to do exactly to go from one rating to the next one. So my main advice would be basically don't give up. And if what you're doing is not working, maybe all that means is you just need a bit of direction from someone to tell you, okay, this is your main area of improvement, and this is our plan to get you the results that you're after to achieve your goals and dreams in chess.
Yeah, this reminds me, Max, like direction is really very important. No matter the amount of efforts you're putting, you need to put them in the right direction, definitely. Only then those efforts can count. So yes, all the students who are hearing this out, you really need to channelize your efforts in one way or the other and get the best possible thing for learning chess. Okay. So, Max, next comes the tournament part. There have been kids who have been practicing chess, maybe playing with their friends or with their family, but they do not go out to the tournaments. They do not play players who are who are higher in rating in comparison to them. So, how, according to you, how important is it for a player to play tournaments with a player who is highly rated in comparison to him? And second, how frequently should a person play tournaments?
Yes, these are very good questions, and the answer will also vary a bit depending on your own level of ambition. So, for example, if you are really completely committed to getting better at chess and that's the most important thing for you, then naturally you should take every opportunity to play and work with strong players and to try to learn from your games as much as possible. But of course, there are other things in life than chess. So ultimately, I'd say, yes, it is very important to practice and to play tournaments. But I think you should also keep in mind why you're sort of playing tournaments as well. Because basically, the great thing about tournaments is that they basically allow you to apply what you've been studying as such. And if you only play tournaments, you will reach a point where basically you're not just going to improve from playing alone, but you actually have to evolve your chess thinking process as well. So basically that would be my general suggestion, to try to play stronger players, but remember that we're doing it to try to learn something from the games. So when you do play, try to make sure that you learn something from the games as well. And then I think you'll see very good results as a result of the tournaments that you do decide to play.
Next, like we were talking about the tournaments, and it's not an easy task. It's not a cakewalk, the tournament part. I've been to multiple tournaments and I've seen the amount of pressure the kid has or the player has on himself, and the parents or the other family and friends that have accompanied him to the tournament, they also go through a certain amount of pressure. So how important is it to maintain a correct psychological balance during the tournament, both at the end of player and the family who's supporting him or the friends who are supporting him? How important is it, and how do people maintain a good psychological balance? What's your take on that?
Yeah, you're very right that this sort of having the right mindset for a tournament is very important. It's also very important for your training as well. Because indeed, if you don't have that right balance, then you'll sort of feel the pressure maybe of your expectations or other people's expectations. So I think my main advice would be, again, try to remember why it is that you're playing chess, why it is that you love chess. And remember that there's more to chess than just the tournament result at the end, that it's also about learning something, enjoying chess for its own sake, sort of reconnecting with that passion that we have for chess. And I think the other thing is also, as you mentioned, often our parents and coaches and friends have various expectations. And I think that it's sort of important to sort of have a good support team where you're on the same page, where you kind of understand, okay, it's true that on the way to becoming a stronger player, we're going to have some challenges. Nobody has a good tournament every single tournament. So when you do lose a game or when you do feel that pain of a difficult situation, keep in mind that it's also part of the learning process, and that if you can draw the right lessons from that, it will make you a stronger player. If you look at myself or any other grandmaster, we lost a very large number of games on the way to getting better at chess. We had various bad tournaments, but the difference is that we didn't let these obstacles make us give up as such. We used them to draw the right lessons and get stronger. And if you have a good coach or stronger player to help you with that process, to say, okay, this is what you can learn from the games and how you can train next time to turn that weakness possibly into a strength, then over time you will see the results that you're after and not feel that your progress is not really going anywhere as such.
So what I could figure out is, like, trying to tell, you should not be result oriented, you should be effort oriented. And no matter how many failures you're facing, no matter how many drawbacks or downfalls you're facing, the never give up attitude should still be alive. And one should not take results that much to their hearts.
Yes, if you have bad results, keep in mind that that could also mean the good results are just around the corner if you keep at it.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. So, Max, you're just 26 years old and you've already retired from the chess world. And this really keeps me wondering, like, what made you do that? What made you take that early retirement from the chess industry?
Yeah, I guess the way I see it, Shreya, is that I haven't really retired from the chess world. I've just retired from the competitive playing side of it. And for me, the motivation is basically to fully invest myself in my coaching and in my writing, through which I can help as many chess players as possible to achieve their goals and dreams. Just as nurtr does the same thing with players' goals and dreams, not just in chess, but many other fields as well. So basically for me, I realized for probably 12 or 13 months that I was not particularly enjoying playing chess anymore, where somehow it became not so interesting to me to play these long games that would go for many hours. Whereas when I saw my students do very well, it was very fulfilling for me to see their growth and their sort of development, not only as chess players, but also how they had to grow as a person to get those better results in their play and in their games. So basically that was sort of the shift for me. It was so that I could basically help people as much as possible with their chess without having to basically continue playing when it was no longer, let's say, enjoyable or so interesting for me to do so anymore. So it's kind of this career shift, as it were.
Yeah. So as I figured out throughout this interview, you are a happiness oriented person. Like the thing that makes you happy, you follow that. So if not playing chess and coaching people is the thing you find happiness in, so you're pursuing that for now. And we at nurtr are also at the similar mission. We are also trying to fulfill every possible dream that the students these days have, and we've done phenomenally good in chess now, and we hope so you'll also be able to help out maximum people and with their career as in chess, and we definitely hope that. So if not playing chess, you aim to help people out through your chess writing and through coaching children. So that's the plan after taking retirement from competitive chess, I suppose.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Yeah. So going back to 90s, Max, if I go back to the days when you yourself were a student, you had to manage your academics, you had to manage your chess playing and other activities in your life. So how was life back then? Like how you used to multitask things, and definitely that could also be a helping insight to all the kids out there, because today children have so much on board. They have so much on board, like they need to do multiple things in their lives, and finding right amount of time for the right amount of thing, that's very difficult these days. So if you could tell us how you used to manage as a student back in 90s, so that would be very great.
Okay, so basically I started playing chess at 6 years old in 1998, and I sort of feel that my challenges back then may not be all that useful for most of the students, because for me school came very easily in primary school. I didn't really have to put much time into it, and therefore it allowed me to focus much more on other things such as chess. Having said that, I remember that in high school I did have to work a bit harder in comparison. And one thing I found was, because I was doing 6 to 7 hours of school just in the school every day, and then you add the homework, it's true that doesn't leave so much time for chess, especially when, as you mentioned, there are many other interests that kids have and want to pursue as such. So I think what I would probably say is that basically it's useful to understand how important chess is to you, as in how much you're willing to put in at some point, maybe even how much you're willing to sacrifice in order to achieve your chess goals. And one thing to keep in mind is it's a very personal question. So you can certainly ask somebody for help with this, but ultimately I think it should be the decision that you're comfortable with, where if you do decide, for example, well, I enjoy chess, but I'm much more passionate about programming, for example, then there's nothing wrong with saying, well, that's the direction I want to go in. But I think understanding why you love chess and being ready to commit to your goals in chess will then help you to find that time to start to get those results you're after. And it's true if you have school as well, if you really want to reach the absolute top in chess, it's true there are certain sacrifices that have to be made, and you have to decide for yourself whether you want to put absolutely everything into chess or whether you also want to have a normal education as well. That's probably more a topic specific topic rather than for the majority of listeners, as it were.
Yeah. So again, Max, this puts me to another question. Like you told me, if a child is interested in programming and he's interested in chess at the same time. So, you know, kids are interested in multiple things, but having a career or having a hobby is something that is very different. So how would a person differentiate, like whether he just wants to keep chess as a hobby, or he really wants to go to that extreme level, that he wants to really push that hard, like he'll be able to have a full-fledged career in chess or in any other domain? That could be programming as well, because kids these days are completely confused with what they exactly want to do. They have multiple interests and they are not able to channelize their energy into one particular way. So how does a person differentiate amongst, like, what exactly does he want to do in life?
Well, I can only really speak from my own experience, but I know for me, I had a similar question where I really wanted to do chess. That was what I really loved to do. But I had some misconceptions initially about chess as a career. And I think it's useful to know that sometimes there will be things that we don't think we can do, but which we actually can do, where we may be able to find a way if we really have the passion, if our dream is really strong. And I'd also say, again, with my experience, after high school, I took a gap year. So I played some chess tournaments and really focused on chess. And then when I went to university, I found I didn't really enjoy the course that I was studying. I didn't really see a future for myself there. And that's how I got into focusing on chess and becoming a chess professional in 2012. And often you figure things out just by trying things, in my experience. So I remember many, many years ago, I wasn't sure whether coaching would work so well for me as a career. But then I actually tried doing it and found I really loved it. And the more I did, the more rewarding it's sort of been for me lately. So I think often you sort of figure out the answer from your own experiences, and your own intuition sort of tells you this is going really well or this is not going so well. Maybe the one other point I'd have is that when you do try something different, there'll always be some fears there and some uncertainty. It's some ways a little bit of a risk, but if the worst case scenario is not so bad to you, then that's often a sign that you're ready to make that step and sort of take a chance. But if we relate it to really young players, I would say that having a good education does open up a lot of opportunities where, for example, I would not be anywhere near as good a coach, I think, if I hadn't completed high school and got that education and ability to express myself well. So it's one thing to keep in mind that maybe the opportunity for you that works might be different to what you expect. But if you're doing things that work towards at least keeping your options open, then that can also be quite good, depending on how your life goes.
Okay. So if I were to summarize your answer, it's like more about trying out things. You cannot always sit back and dream about what you really want to do. You need to go out and try. You need to get your hands dirty. And all those people who are watching this interview, so don't just sit back and dream about chess or about anything in your life. Go out, try stuff. What will happen? At max, you can fail. And that's, trust me, that's not even the worst case. Failing has never been the worst case. I hope Max would agree to this. Failing can never be the worst case. And just go out and try stuff. And then you can analyze whatever you want to do in life. But sitting back and dreaming won't contribute to that anyways. So that brings me to the next question, Max. Chess usually needs a good amount of commitment. You need to be, anything in life needs good amount of commitment though, but you need to just stick to whatever you are doing. And meanwhile, you cannot really emphasize, or you cannot really, drive your attention to things that are pulling you off the chessboard, that are pulling you off the game. So did you ever feel like quitting chess, or were you that amount of frustrated with your game, like you thought of no giving up? And if you thought so, how did you manage to get back to the chessboard with equal amount of enthusiasm and motivation so that you could play your next game? And what role did your family and friends play in the same? Like they acted as a support system, definitely. So what was their contribution in you being a grandmaster today?
Yes, it's a very good question, Shreya.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of chess, I had times where inevitably I got quite frustrated when maybe I had a bad tournament, or perhaps I had a good tournament and then I didn't keep having the good tournaments. And I kind of wondered, well, where did my chess improvement go? Excuse me. So basically, for me, I never, I think, seriously sort of intended sort of quitting. But there were a few times where I would get very frustrated and ask, well, why am I sort of doing this? But then I would always find a reason to sort of, apply myself again and remind myself of my love for chess.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, it's almost an ironic question in that I have actually sort of announced my retirement from playing chess for the moment. But for me, it's basically more moving to a different direction rather than, sort of quitting, as it were. For me, it's nothing to do with any frustration on results, but sort of realizing that I want to achieve results and channel my competitiveness in other areas of chess, namely helping other players, other passionate players, achieve the results that they're striving for as such. As for the role of parents and a support team, I think I was very fortunate to have very supportive parents who would pay for my chess coaching on a regular basis, who would take me to the tournaments. It's a very important point, I think, that it's not just the player that has to make sacrifices, but the parents also have to be really committed. And I know many players who were very talented at chess, but they didn't have that same opportunity, and that sort of meant their results were maybe not as good as they could have been with the right support. And for me, I'm a big believer in the idea of having a great support team, not just for chess, but any very noble venture, let's say. So that is not just your parents, but also your trainers, your friends, and your other people who are important in your life. So that's what I would say. If you can have a good support team, then be very grateful for it, because not everybody has that same opportunity that you might have as such.
Right. You definitely need to have a good emotional support system, be it your friends, your family, or anyone else. You definitely need to have someone to be there at your back who would support you during your rough times and rough days. So you're very fortunate enough that you had some people like that, and that put you today in Grandmaster's shoes. So, Max, were there any strategies or any tactics that you played on board that really helped you behind the chessboard also, like on chess and off chess, like when you're sitting in front of that chessboard, there is so much going in your mind, so much going in your mind. So, did you learn any real life skills while playing chess that you use in your life today also?
Yes, I think that chess is a very great learning tool, Shreya,
Mm-hmm.
for learning not just life skills, as you kind of mentioned, such as critical thinking and good emotional balance and everything. But it also, when we compete, we learn quite a lot about ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
because we really push ourselves, and we're playing other players who are also really out there trying to do everything they can to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great thing about competition that, yes, there are a lot of challenges along the way, but it's by overcoming those challenges that we realize just how strong we are, just how capable we are. And we can take those competitive skills to other things as well, where, for example, for me, I learned quite a lot from playing that I'm applying in my coaching and writing right now, because when one of my students has a problem, it often happens I've had the same problem before, and I can say, okay, this is what my experience was, and this is what worked for me. And maybe the solution is different for you, but we can sort of work together to find a solution to your problem as such, and to know that there is a solution at the end, that no problem is too big for us if we are able to approach with the right tools and the right mindset. So that's how I see chess. I think the great thing about it is, even if you don't, let's say, achieve your chess goal of, say, becoming the world champion, because there can only be so many world chess champions as such. But even if you don't get there, you're still going to learn quite a lot. And it's going to give you a very good foundation for growing as a person and applying yourself to anything also outside of chess, in my view. So in terms of specific strategies, I think that's the main one. They just taught me how to think about life and how to approach life in general. And it sort of taught me the importance of thinking about what other people, that other people think differently to us as such. So I could go on a lot more, but that's the short answer.
Okay. So here what I can realize is chess is not only about certain chess pieces and a chess board. It's definitely more than that. And you have so much to learn through playing chess. Not only your strategies and tactics, but it can bring definitely certain amount of improvement in your real life also. And it can help you think better. It can help you decide better. And you definitely got to have those skills in your real life also. Yeah. So Max, what is the take of chess in Australia? Like here in India, people are really crazy about chess, and they worship chess actually. So is that the same case in Australia? Like, are people that passionate and that crazy about chess, or like how is it in Australia?
Yes, you're right that India has really amazing chess culture. I think one of the very best in the world as such. And well, Australia is a very different sort of culture. One thing to keep in mind is that basically Australia is typically a physical sporting culture where you probably, the listeners know of many Australian cricketers, for example. And so basically when it comes to these intellectual sports such as chess, the Australian government hasn't really got to supporting it. So chess is actually not even considered a sport in Australia, even though it's considered a sport in many other places in many other countries around the world. So it means that basically there are a lot of kids that really love chess in Australia, and certainly the Australian chess scene is improving and evolving, as reflected by the fact we've gone from 4 grandmasters in 2014 to having 10 grandmasters at the moment. However, what Australia kind of lacks is the resources and a very good structure to make those results happen. And while it's true that India has a substantially larger population than Australia, I think one reason that India has managed to progress so much in chess is basically have a very good system. You have a lot of players who are coming in, have a very professional approach, and a lot of resources going into chess. And I think that for Australia, the way forward is to sort of create a good system for coaching, and having extra financial support would also be make a massive difference. That's something that may not happen so quickly. Probably will take some little steps to make some big changes in Australian chess in the end.
Right. There's always a scope of improvement, and what we can do is we can wait for the tables to turn, and hopefully chess will also be one of the celebrated sports in Australia as well. And hopefully India also finds it go a little better than what it is right now. And Max, I saw you being featured on the Australian magazine called 50 Moves. So you were there at the front cover. So how does it feel like, the fame that comes along with this, along with being a grandmaster, being a celebrated player all across the world? So how do you handle that part?
So basically, this magazine cover was very nice for me because it was sort of a recognition of my achievement of becoming a grandmaster. And while it's true that the journey is the most rewarding part, of course, when we achieve our goal, we should celebrate it and really soak in the achievement as well. I would say that basically, for me, I don't really mind any sort of attention with, through chess, because for me, it's a way to give back to the chess community that has been so supportive of me and continues to be very supportive of me.
Mhm.
And it's given me so much over the years, essentially given me the life that I have today that I'm
Mhm.
very lucky to enjoy. So for me, that's probably the general advice I'd sort of give, that yes, we should certainly celebrate the achievement, but
Mhm.
one thing I kind of learned is that the achievement itself is not going to automatically give you happiness. Basically, it's the journey and really, sort of understanding ourselves and being happy with where we are. That's what brings us happiness. It's a choice rather than the final destination or our final goal, as it were.
Okay. So what according to you should be the means of celebration? Like you said, being a grandmaster or being a celebrated player, what calls for a celebration? How do you celebrate things out there, and how do you just vent out all the happiness?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it really depends on the person. For me, I really like celebrating with my family because my
Mhm.
family are very important to me. They really are the ones who've set up everything that I've achieved. And now that they're somewhat older, it's really nice to be able to share in those successes and know that they're very important to me. I appreciate everything that they have done for me as such. So that's sort of my way of celebrating, but there isn't really a correct answer. I'd say just do whatever you feel sort of happy with and feel most comfortable with, whether that's celebrating with your friends or hosting a party or having a dinner out. I'd say
Mhm.
just do whatever feels right for you. There's no right or wrong answer to this.
Okay, okay. That was wonderful. So, Max, I have a fun question here for you now, and that's more about knowing who Max actually is. And so I request you to be a quick rapid with it so that we can really
Sure.
have a little fun while answering all these questions. So, who's the favorite chess player you, according to you, Max? Who's your favorite chess player?
It's whoever's the strongest player at the time. So human players, that's Carlson now.
Okay. And the favorite book so far?
Um, Hard to say, but maybe How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Okay. And the motivational quote you follow throughout your life. What's your favorite motivational quote, that keeps you going through no matter what?
I think the favorite motivational quote would be either there are no ordinary moments or happiness comes from the journey, not the destination.
Okay. Your favorite tournament, like that has multiple memories associated with it. And whenever you think about tournament, that's the first thing that crosses your mind.
I would say the Australian Chess Championship.
And one chess tip you would like to share with our audience?
My main chess tip would be to try to learn something from every game you play. That there are
Mhm.
not winners and losers in chess, but winners and learners is like one attitude that really will take you far in chess.
Okay. And one life tip for the non-chess audience we have, or
Um,
that can be applicable to the chess audience also.
yes, I think my life tip would be to try to understand why you are doing things. Often we get very focused on the what and the how, and we forget why it is that we're doing something, why something is so important to us.
Mhm. So every one of us has a wish list, Max. What's that one wish that tops your wish list for now?
I think my wish list at the moment is to try to influence or help 100 million people. That's
Mhm.
it at the moment.
Mhm. Okay, back then I was talking about the emotional support system. Then you definitely might have that one go-to person in your life who's always there for you at the back end. So the audience would like to know who's that person.
Right now, it would probably be my fiance.
Okay, that's nice to hear that, Max. And besides yourself, whom do you consider your biggest competition?
Actually, I sort of don't feel I have any real competition in the sense I feel that basically we all have the same sort of goal, I think, to help others. So
Mhm.
I see everyone as sort of colleagues that we can work together and help each other achieve our dreams rather than competitors that we have to sort of beat and destroy, if that makes sense.
Okay. So, how many countries have you visited so far for the chess tournaments, Max? And what was the best experience, and it was in which country?
I think that I visited about 30 countries. Honestly, I lose count.
Okay.
Probably my favorite one is probably not to do with chess, but if it's only chess, I would say probably Greece. in Crete for the Quality Chess Academy that I attended quite recently. I think it was really good because I had the opportunity to work with Jakob Ogard, who I consider the world's best chess trainer alive at the moment. And I think that it was really great for giving me this clarity that I really wanted to help people with through coaching and writing. So it was very transformative for me in that sense.
Okay, that was nice to hear that, Max. And so all these questions really helped us know who actually Max Illingworth is besides being a grandmaster. So that was really nice. And yeah, I would like to thank you once again for scheduling this interview with us. And it was really nice having you. And one more thing that I would like to tell our beautiful audience is that along with being such a great grandmaster, Max is also a Dream Room subscriber, and he's been associated with nurtr for quite a long time now. So again, thanks Max for being there with nurtr. Any last words you have for the audience for nurtr? Anything you would like to share or say?
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Shreya, and the rest of the team at nurtr for having me and giving me the opportunity to speak with everybody here. To thank everyone for taking their time to listen to what I have to say, and I hope it was useful for you. And I also think that your dream here at nurtr is quite similar to my own, and for that reason, I wish you the best of luck with your with your ventures, and I hope you continue to enjoy great success with what you are doing.
Thanks, Max. Thanks a lot. We wish you all the luck for your upcoming journey, for you helping children out in the chess career, and we really look forward to meet you again. And all the insights that you gave us today were really helpful, and hopefully the listening audience will definitely gain something out of it and will apply them in their lives. So thanks a lot, Max, for having us. Thank you.
Yes, it's my pleasure, Shreya.
Goodbye, Max.
Goodbye.